Hi, and welcome to another edition of Ask Spurrell CPA. Today we're talking about the 4-hour work week versus the 80-hour work week. I'm here with Cole. Cole, have you seen of a lot of our successful entrepreneurs working 4 hours a week?
Nope.
No, it's not happening. So the quote that we have, the Gary Keller quote, authored the one thing: time on a task over time eventually beats talent every time. The statistic, Industry Canada, 50% of all businesses will fail within 5 years. That's just the statistic. And the story we have is business owners, they start a business, or they're working in a business, and they have unrealistic expectations about how much work it actually takes to create a sustainable business. They probably picked up a copy of that 4-hour work week, and that might give them a false hope of what it's actually going to be like. But they sometimes they truly don't understand what it's likely going to take. So, Cole, what are the questions you think these business owners need to ask?
What did you think about the batching and MVP principles in the 4-hour work week?
So there's some great principles in that book. So, when talking about batching tasks, that's amazing. We're batching tasks. Cole and I are batching tasks here today. This is video number 5 that we shot. We're not shooting one video every day. We're batching them up because it's quicker to do. So batching tasks 100% is a useful topic, and it's covered really well in that book. Also the MVP, your minimal viable product. Oh my goodness, have I seen how many business owners, they want to hit the sun and the moon and the stars the first time, just get to the first point where you can start selling something, because that's going to give you a whole pile of information that you can't get before you start selling something. So great principles in that book for sure. But 4 hours, I don't know.
Why do you think that the average business owner needs more time than Tim Ferriss?
I think it has a lot to do with the same reason why, me or Cole need more time to skate around an ice rink than Connor McDavid. That's quite frankly what I think. So, I don't doubt that, someone could, the best in the world, the 1% of the 1% could, probably make 4 hours a week work, But I'm interested in how do I help 80% of all business owners succeed. Not systems or expectations that the 1% of business owners can actually hit out of the park. How do we make operating a business that it's not 50% or more fail, that it's 80 or 90% are succeeding at that, and time on a task over time eventually beats talent every time. So I would really draw on that. Those are great examples of really successful entrepreneurs who work a lot of hours.
Do people often quit jobs to start businesses to improve their work-life balance?
Yeah, that can be, probably a mistake, right? They think I'm working in this job, and I got to come in here every day at 8 a.m. and I had to work overtime, work 50 hours last week. If I go out on my own, I'm going to be able to work less. And that's, probably a mistake that a lot of business owners are leaving businesses or leaving a job, for that sole purpose.
Should decreasing your hours be a long-term or short-term goal?
So it should be, the time freedom that you can have by having your own business is 100% there, and it should be a goal. That should be one of the reasons why you start the business, but it should be a long-term goal. You should be leaving that 40 or 50 hour a week job thinking, next week when I leave, it's now 80 hours a week. And it's going to be 80 hours a week for years. And then at some point, I'm going to do much better than 40 hours a week, or I'm going to have a better time freedom or flexibility of my schedule that I never had in my employment position. But that is a long-term goal, not a short-term goal. If you're starting a business, you need to expect that it's going to get worse before it's going to get better. And I don't mean worse for a couple of weeks. I mean worse for a couple of years. That time on a task over time, it's a long time coming. So that time freedom should be a goal, but it should be a long-term goal.
Why is it easier to build a business around your passion?
So it's easier to build a business around your passion. It's that old saying, if you do something you love, you feel like you never worked a day in your life. So if you're passionate about the subject, these long hours are easier. if you're just doing something because you want to make a buck at it, get a job because it's going to be easier. You're going to work less time. You're not going to have to, output that big amount of time. Most people don't have the discipline to spend those required hours and that required effort to get the business moving on something that they don't actually enjoy. Can it be done? Yeah, it can be done. Normally, those sort of things start to get done by serial entrepreneurs. Their second or third business. They just know exactly what needs to get done. They have to develop that discipline already. So whether they are love what they're doing or not starts to become less relevant because they start just knowing how to do it. So, but I would build your first business around something that you're passionate about because it's going to make those long hours so much easier.
How can taking pride in small accomplishments help with long weeks?
So we generally develop the motivation from progress, right? And people our happiness directly relates on how we're progressing. So you have to stop looking at I want the Lamborghini to I want to make this week's sales calls. I want to do this week's follow-up calls. I need to do my accounting at this time. I need to write one more checklist on how to open up the business. You need to start taking pride in those accomplishments because the big fancy goals are years away, but those small accomplishments, they're in every single day. We just need to find the ones that are around every day, and when we take pride in hitting those and doing those tasks well, that's going to keep us on the track when the hours are long and the big goals are far away.
Should you consider cutting things out of your life to focus only on important things?
Yeah. So if you're going to have, longer work hours, you're going to look at other things in your personal life, and you start to, you don't want to, not spend time with your family, but, do you need to go with, to your friends who you knew 8 years ago in high school to a party that you don't even like half the people there anymore just to make an appearance? I'm not sure if that's possible, right? So we got to start making choices about what's actually important, discriminating them so we can still do the things that are really important in our personal life and still have that time blocked off to to get this monumental task of getting a business moving.
Why is unplugging often more important than working less hours?
So some people think that, hey, I'm going to get off work at 3 o'clock and I'm going to have a better work-life balance because of that. A lot of people get off work at 3 o'clock and they go home and they sit on the couch and they're texting on their phone or looking stuff up. And it's like, people are like, I don't want to work 80 hours because I want to spend more time with my family. What time did you actually spend with them? Did you just sit on the couch and text all day? It didn't matter. And play video games? It didn't matter if you got off at 3 or you got off at 7 or worked all day. They didn't speak to you for any meaningful conversation or do anything interesting with you anyways. So often, unplugging is the way. So even if you're working these huge long hours, and I'm making fun of the people playing Netflix and video games, but sometimes unplugging is about the business items too. So we're talking about not letting those business items go into your personal life. Sometimes it's just completely unplugging and being present in the moment is often more important than how many moments that you're spending. You can have hours if you're not really present in there. I don't know how meaningful it is, but if you're truly present in the moment, you can get a lot done and get a lot of benefit from that, and your family gets a lot of benefit from that too when you're in those moments where you're truly present in them.
How can a rigid work schedule help your personal life?
So the rigid work schedule, we've gone on and on about why that's important in your business career. It keeps you focused, and it has the team buy-in, and you can replicate your tasks with other individuals and keep everyone moving in the same direction. But think about this on your personal life, and let's say you're going to work these 80 hours a week. Well, now your family is going to realize that the time that they're going to spend with you, it can be limited. But if they can plan around it, it can be beneficial. So you don't get off work till 7. But if they know for sure you were going to be there at home at 7:30, now all of the activities are planned around that, and you can actually be present in those activities and schedule those activities around it. But the minute you get into, whether you're working 50 hours a week or 80 hours a week, but all of a sudden that schedule starts to fluctuate. and you come home later than what you intended to, or you do something after hours, and it's going to happen once in a while. But if you can limit, the number of times that happens, now all of a sudden you're not missing out on the things that you wanted to take part in. They're actually getting scheduled into your life, and that goes with your personal life too, that even if you have limited time, if you can schedule those things that are really important in your personal life, you're just not going to miss out on them. You can still participate in them. But if that schedule is always changing and you're always, shuffling those things around, you're going to miss out on those things.
How are disciplined, repeatable schedules and processes the key to time freedom?
Yeah, really, those schedules, a lot of business owners, they push back on rigid schedules because they think, I'm starting a business so I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. Like, that's actually the enemy. So usually when you want to start a business, you need to be more disciplined and more regimented with your schedule than you ever have been before. Because once you get that schedule down packed of what you need to do at what time, now you can actually you can hire someone else on, and you can task them with doing it because you know how long it should take. Once you have that schedule, that process going, you know that, hey, look, this is what I need to do. If I do this at this time and that at that time and this at the next time, at this time, at the end of the day, I can actually go home and I'm done. I don't have to worry about any of this thing anymore because if it was important, it's in my schedule to do it at some other time. So that disciplined, repeatable schedule is the key to, A, eventually delegating stuff, and B, making sure that, you can do what needs to get done. And once that's done, you can move on to the things that are important to you in your personal life. So that's really the key, I believe, to the freedom is that discipline. So, I think that's what we have here for today. Thanks so much for watching again. As always, please hit that like and subscribe button so we can continue to deliver you tips on how to beat the odds at business. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and we'll do our best to address them in possibly a future video. Thanks very much.